A global emergency has been declared as Mpox, previously known as Monkeypox, has now spread to 4 additional unsuspecting countries. In fact, today, the WHO, World Health Organization, held a meeting and they have now declared a public health emergency declaration on the international level. It's also been decided that this current Mpox outbreak poses a potential international threat. Does that sound a little bit familiar, like something we went through, I don't know, a few years ago? Yeah, it certainly does, and exactly what I want to share with you here in this video, as we certainly want to pay attention to this, because it's spreading pretty rapidly, and we want to know the details behind it. So let's jump into it and discuss what's going on. First off, if you have not done so yet, please subscribe down below, totally free to do so. The big subscribe button right down below the video. Thank you, I really appreciate your support, and let me share with you the details. Now, this Mpox outbreak, and again, I want to clarify, this is referring to previously known as monkeypox, okay? Now, this outbreak has generally been isolated to the DRC, which stands for Democratic Republic of the Congo, okay? So that is in Africa. However, it is now spreading rapidly, and they just found it in 4 additional unsuspecting countries throughout the continent of Africa, right? So as of right now, they have found it in a total of 13 different countries all around African countries, okay? So again, it's still relatively small as of now, but just like we saw a few years ago, we saw this spreading pretty rapidly with the whole COVID situation, right? So that is why the WHO jumped on a call in a meeting today, and they talked about all the details of this. Now, I can share with you some of the statistics that I was reading about this, and obviously, as you can see here as well, right? But here's what they found from this. So far, they have found confirmed about 17,000 cases, which, you know, if you look at the details, considering, you know, the populations and stuff like that, 17,000 doesn't seem like a huge deal. It's, you know, it's a lot of people, but it doesn't seem super widespread yet, right? But again, they've had 17,000 infections so far, and they've had over 500 deaths as a result of this. So proportionately, it's actually pretty high, right? It has a relatively high fatality rate, which is why they're concerned about this. And here's the other problem with this as well. It spreads very, very easily, okay? Something as simple as general contact or, you know, saliva, things like this. I mean, I don't need to get into all the details, right? I mean, if you want me to, I certainly can, but you get my point, right? Just general contact with other people, it can spread very easily. And again, I could go through a whole list of contact if you want me to, that we could do, and that may spread this, but you get my point, right? I think we all know what we mean by this. But again, it spreads very rapidly, and even just something like bedding or sheets or towels or something like that, even the sharing of potential clothes that has been infected could potentially infect another person. Now, I want to make it very clear. I'm not a doctor, okay? So I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, these are the exact diagnoses and, you know, all stuff like that, okay? So just want to make that very clear. I'm definitely not a medical doctor, okay? But you can see that there in the report as well. But this is certainly a concern, and why this is on high alert for the WHO and why they want to continue watching this. So here's what also is interesting about this as well. Because of the situation we just went through like 4 years ago, right? Not even, well, yeah, about 4 years ago or so. I think they're maybe a little bit more sensitive to what's actually happening right now, because if we were to go into another situation like what we did a couple years ago, you know, we'd be in a major situation. And with this one as well, and again, I know there's varying opinions on COVID. I'm not going to sit here and debate all that. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to stir the pot at all, but you get my point here, which is this one has a significantly higher fatality rate than what COVID did, okay? So if we see this start to spread internationally and we continue to see it spread around the continent of Africa, and again, yes, as of right now, it is mostly isolated there. But if we continue to see this spread further and further and enter into other countries, maybe Asian countries or European countries or something like this, or, you know, it eventually makes its way to the United States. And again, if it continues to spread at the rate that it does, who knows? Maybe at some point it will. But my point is, if that's the case, we'll certainly need to be very concerned about this, because the contagion of this is very easy, right? In other words, it's very, very contagious. It can spread very, very rapidly and very fast and very easily as well. And then, you know, this could be another situation that we kind of deal with. So obviously, let's hope that they get on top of this and they, you know, kind of mitigate the spread of this thing relatively rapidly. But considering how fast it's been spreading so far, is certainly on the radar of the WHO, and they're watching all the details behind this. And again, why I wanted to bring this to your attention. Now, I want to make it very clear. I'm not here to instill fear in anybody. I'm not here to fearmonger. I'm not here to say, look out, put your mask on and hide in your basement for the next 7 months. No, I'm not saying that at all. We got to live our lives. But at the same time, do you want to be aware of this? I mean, think back like 4.5 years ago when the whole COVID thing was just starting. It sounded like, oh, that's just silly, that's in China. It's not going to happen here. We're good, right? We're so many thousands of miles away. We'll be fine, right? And then it was here before we knew it, right? A couple months later, it didn't take very long from the time we first heard about it until the time it was here in the United States, spreading rapidly. It's like, whoa, look out, everybody, here it comes, right? And then we got whacked, like in a pretty good way. I mean, like all across the globe, we saw it spreading so rapidly. So kind of the same situation that we're dealing with here. And again, not here to fearmonger, not here to scare anybody, not to here to instill fear in anybody, but rather more like, hey, let's just be paying attention. Let's be vigilant to what's going on around us and what's going on globally. And again, I know, here we are in the United States, right? Africa is a long ways away. I get it. But you know what? There's a lot of people that are traveling. There's airplanes flying around. There's ships going all around, right? There's a lot of things that are transporting. Therefore, if it's as contagious as it really is, it wouldn't take much to really get this thing spreading rapidly, right? So that's my point here. So anyway, that's what's going on internationally, and want to bring that to your attention here as well. Plus here domestically across the U.S., and again, I've been seeing this showing up a little bit here as well, which is this whole spread of potential bird flu, right? We've seen this a little bit. We've been seeing it in some different dairy workers around the country. Something we want to pay attention to. It has not been spreading very rapidly, but certainly something that is, again, on the radar of some of these medical professionals, and we'll have to see what happens. Either way, let's just keep an eye on it. Want to bring it to your attention, let you know what's going on, and yeah, this is going to be an interesting one to watch play out here. We will see some international response on this because that's kind of what happens with the WHO, the World Health Organization, right? So international support on this, and they'll probably likely come together to try to come together on something to kind of mitigate the spread of this as rapidly as possible. But you never know what happens here. So either way, I'll keep you posted as I get more information. Again, please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends on my social media. Again, there's a share button down below. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Just want to do what I can to bring you information that I'm finding with all the daily research, continue to advocate on your behalf, and yeah, thanks so much. Please subscribe, share the video, check out the other videos here on the channel, the thousands in the video library, the ones I've hand selected for you down below in the description or the top of the comment section, and right now pop on your screen as well. You'll see some videos there. Thank you, really appreciate it. Check out the next video, and I'll see you again in just a minute in the next one.